voice change of sentence has at least one subject. The subject is either the doer or the person or thing affected. Voice is the contrast marked between the dual roles of subject plays. In general, subject, verb, and object are the terms in priority in voice business. According to the role of the subject, a sentence is said to have two voice names that are active and passive. So how I define here is, see, if there is only verb, then it makes a complete sentence. See, when there is a verb only, verb, the verb makes a complete sentence. And before that verb and after that verb, we use some words. And before verb, what we use is called subject, and after verb, what we use is object. So always there is subject verb agreement. So it is called subject verb agreement. And with the help of that subject verb agreement, then there is a proper sentence. I'll repeat it again. So let other join here. We are 13 now. So at least here must 18, 19. 18, 19. We are 13. Okay. I repeat it again. I repeat it. To make a sentence, the form of sentence can be different, but to make a complete sentence, we need at least one verb. If we were in physical class now, I would say that go, pointing outside, I would say that go. Then you would walk outside, only using go. The go is complete sentence. If it gives proper meaning, and if you understand and start doing something, go. If the class is over and I give you the work to write, if I say write only, right now, like that, you understand that you should write what is taught, what you are suggested, okay, then you start writing. The only one word, or that is verb, write, go, eat, like that. Then you understand the complete meaning, then it is what called sentence. See, we don't have need a subject and then verb and object. But understand, you have to understand that though there is no use of subject in go or write or eat, but there is a subject. Subject is hidden. See, subject is not expressed, subject is not said, subject is not shared, the object is not shared. Like, see here, I give you one example from this one. Let's begin writing here. So I give one example. Okay, go. When I say go, if you were in physical class, then you would go outside or go backside or do something else. If I say write, you would write something, either a story or essay or the grammar, what is being taught, then you would write. While saying go also, and while saying write also, it's a complete sentence. If you understand meaning, you go means you go outside, but you are not said you and outside, but you understand you have to go outside. So this is what, this is a, you see, sentence. The subject, the verb forms a complete sentence if it gives proper meaning. Though I don't say write essay, okay, but what is such you write an essay, okay. So this is the what complete sentence that I speak even in the word write only. So we understand in that way. So now, see here, now what we do is, here in dealing or doing the business of voice here, or dealing with the voice here, a sentence has at least one subject, one verb, and one object. But in voice, very often we focus on subject. whether the subject is doer of action or the person or the thing affected. See, if we say, okay, if I say, I write a story. This is what the sentence complete. Here, a story is written. Okay, written. These two sentences have the same meaning. What you have to understand is here, these two sentences have same meaning. There is no difference in one and the first and the second example. But what is different is, in the sentence, first sentence, the subject I is the doer of action. Doer means do. The subject I does something here. Like teacher, teach, teacher. The person, teacher is person. Like doing something. Doer means a person, yes, who does something. So I write a story. Here is, I is a doer of action. Means I does something. What I do? I write a story. So I is active here. See, I does something. I affects the what? Something. I has that power to affect or to leave some effect to other. But in second sentence, what we say is, a story is written here. A story is subject, but a story is here subject, but is affected. The subject, a story does not do anything. Rather, it is affected by object, so that it is a passive. So in this, what we see, what we go through is the role we say, the role we just evaluate, and on the basis of that, or the priority in wise is or wise business is the role of this subject. So accordingly, we talk about C. Now, now what I have to do is, see, this one, okay. Now, when the subject is the doer, okay, here is, when the subject is doer, the sentence is in active voice. Remember, I write a story. I is doer, I does. She writes a story. Subject sees, active there because subject sees. She writes a story. She writes a poem. She plays volleyball like she. A ram plays. Okay, monkey eats apple like that. The subject there is doer. Subject does something. So that in active voice, the subject is active. See, the subject does something. Subject affects something. Okay. In passive here, in the example here, Gopi eats rice. Gopi has that capacity. Gopi does something upon rice. The rice has some effect that the Gopi lives. In second example, when the subject is a person or thing affected, we can't say that the person is always subject and that subject always affects the other thing. No, the person sometimes is also affected. In this condition, then it is called passive voice. See here, rice is eaten by Gopi. Here, in the first sentence, Gopi eats rice. Gopi is active. Gopi is subject and it is verb, and then rice is what object. But here in the next sentence, example, passive, it is passive voice as it is, as you see the subject is rice. Rice, though rice is subject, but the rice cannot leave any effect to other things. See here, rice, though is the subject in this sentence, is affected by the object. See here, rice is eaten by Gopi. Gopi affects rice again. So the meaning in first sentence and the second sentence is same. So what we learn here, what we study here is the role of a subject. In the first sentence, the subject has effect, subject affects others, and in second sentence, the subject is affected. See, that's the difference. In active, the subject affects others. In passive, the subject is affected. Are you clear up to here?
Yes.
Yes. If you have any question, then immediately you ask me. Okay. So, and if you have more knowledge also, you can share, not only question, knowledge also. Sometimes you may have more knowledge than myself. Okay. So you can share. It may happen. Okay. It's a time, it's the era of IT, information technology. So you may collect more knowledge and more information from the or using the word IT. So I don't claim that. You can share if you have better knowledge sometime. You are just grown up. You are in grade 10. I don't claim myself to be better in everything. So sometime if you get, okay. So now read the rules printed below. Here is the passive voice is formed with the verb be plus B3. It means that always the verb is in past participle, that is verb 3. Verb 3 in passive. We shouldn't be confused in using verb, that is verb 3. Okay, past participle. In example, you see here. Okay, here is again the example. Active, he killed a snake. He is subject, killed is verb, and a snake. The sentence is in past simple. Past simple. Subject plus B2 plus object. He is subject, killed is B2, and a snake is object. And so, while transforming the past simple active voice into passive, is the structure is object plus was word plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. You have to remember immediately. You are asked to memorize all the structures, okay, 8 structures, and those were the basic structures. Then only you can do other sentences. You can transform other sentences. Sometimes sentences will be in S no, and sometimes the sentence will be WS question, like that. Okay, in that you will be able to transform or change the active into passive. So some students say that we can change. You can change. You can change only in the affirmative sentences. But when it is the case of negative, when it is the case of WS, when it is the case of S no question, then it may be difficult. If you don't know, or if you aren't familiar with the structures that I last time asked you to learn, memorize all. Okay. So in next example, see, he killed a snake, or a snake as a subject, we write. Okay, then was where? Here is what the auxiliary was, as the snake is singular noun. So killed is B3 here. In the first, in question, he killed a snake. There is killed B2, but here was plus killed. Okay, this is B3. The killed and killed, both say verb 2 and verb 3 are same. By him. Next, Sumnima writes a poem. Here, Sumnima is a subject. Writes a poem. The sentence is in present simple. Present simple. Subject plus B1, B5 plus object. So, Sumnima writes a poem. Here, a poem is written by Sumnima. You understand this one. This was taught in the classroom. But what wasn't taught, I'm going to talk here. Okay, talk about that. See, here by plus agent is not always apt. So in what case we don't mention the agent, the object in the passive. See, it says it's not adopted when the doer is completely unknown. Doer, if the doer is someone, somebody, known, nobody, anyone, anybody, everyone, everybody, people, we, they, etc. is not mentioned in the passive. Then we don't mention those. So what the subject, those doer, while transforming active voice to passive. See here, example. What you see is here. Example. Active. No one saw me. Here, no one. Already I have said that someone, somebody, no one, none, nobody, anyone, anybody, everyone, everybody, people, we, they. These are not the clear, not clearly known. These are called doer, but they are not properly known. So active is here. No one saw me. No one means we don't know who that person is. So that I wasn't seen only. We don't write, I was not seen by no one. We don't do like that. We do, I wasn't seen only. The second example you see, active. People are destroying the jungle. Who the people are? People are from what, Jumla? People are from India. People are from Kathmandu. Who are those people? We don't know. So while transforming this sentence into passive, we write only the jungle, the object is here brought, is written in the place of subject in passive. See, the jungle. So the sentence is in present continuous. IMR plus before. Subject plus IMR plus before, the jungle. So that here the jungle is subject and IMR, we write jungle as a singular noun. We used word is, though there was R in the active. The R was used as a subject, people was a plural. So here the jungle is singular noun. The jungle is being destroyed. The structure of present continuous passive is so object plus IMR plus being plus V3 plus by plus subject. But here, as people is not clearly known, so we don't mention by people. We don't write by people. So only destroyed. And number next, active. They invited us. Us is also not clear. Who was? So passive. We were invited. We see here. Us, we ourselves. So they is not what clearly known here. They. So that we were invited them. We don't write. We write we were invited. Here another example. I'm going to talk here. We may have two objects. See, we may have sometimes two objects. So that time which object we use while transforming the active into passive. See, a large number of transitive verbs take two objects, direct and indirect. In that active voice, the passive of such objects can be made in two ways. See, if there are two objects, then which object we to use while transforming into passive, or in what way those what the multiple objects can be just what used or can be used in the position of subject into passive voice. See, active. Bhuvan gave me 1,000 rupee note. Here, Bhuvan is subject, gave is verb to past, okay. Me is object. The sentence is complete here. Bhuvan gave me. But another object is 1,000 rupee note. We have two objects. Me, one object is me, and second is 1,000 rupee note. We may use or we can use both objects as subjects. See here example. Number passive A. The object I, me, is what used as I here. The me is used here as I. I as a sentence is in past simple. Bhuvan gave me. This is what past simple. Okay. So that the structure while changing past simple to passive is object plus was were plus V3 plus subject. So what is done here? I subject object is here and was the structure we follow here, and verb 3 past participle. give, given. We use given and then 1,000 rupee note. The object we have written the same, but the proper noun Bhuvan is here. So that who gave? Bhuvan gave. So that 1,000 rupee note by Bhuvan. So it's a more usual. Here is a remarks you can see more usual. People use this sentence more usually. Now, number B, 1,000 rupee note. See here, 1,000 rupee note was given to me by Bhuvan. See here. 1,000 rupee note also can be used as a subject. So we do like this. Are you clear up to here? Anybody? All of you? Are you clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being clear. Okay. Now I'm going to talk next thing. See, here we have different kinds of sentences. In the case of imperative, that are the active imperative. Imperative sentence means, can you say what are the imperative sentences? The sentence with command, order, request, okay, like that. Advice, okay. These are called the imperative sentences. Here, in the case of imperative, we have to remember, the thing is here, the active imperative, that is verb 1 plus object. O means object. Go home, close the door, okay. So we don't use subject. Close the door. There is, the subject is hidden. See, you close the door means close the door only. We use verb in the beginning. We don't use subject, okay. You close the door. No, close the door. Go out, write down, write or do exercises like that, okay. So this is what command order. So one has to, the listener has to do this one. So here is command and order becomes let plus object plus B plus B3. Or we have two ways to change the imperative, especially command and order. I'm not talking about request here. I'm talking about command and order. By listening the words used in the command and order, whether the sentence is in command or order, we have to know by its meaning. If teacher says to close the door, then students have to do. That's a command. That's order. That's not request. Okay. So that's the command. So students, write down, do the works. When teacher says to the student to do the works, then it's a command. It's order, not request. When students ask question to the teacher, it's a request. Understand? The same thing, when senior asks to do something to the junior, it's a command and order. When junior asks the same thing to the senior to do, then it's a request. So it's a rule here. We use either let plus object plus B plus B3, or another way to transform into passive is you are ordered to plus verb 1. What was said is used here. If the sentence is meant to show duty, always not order, not command. If the sentence is duty, then it becomes object plus should plus B plus B3. See here. If it is duty, object plus should plus B plus B3. And if it is request, duty and request are something different. So you have to obey your parents. See, obey your parents. When teacher says to the students, obey your parents, then your parents should be obeyed. Your parents should be obeyed. Obey your parents, obey your teachers. You should say, your teachers should be obeyed, like that. And if it is request, then what we do? See here, it becomes If it is a request, it becomes you are requested plus P1 plus object. Okay. So here are some examples. Let's go through the example. Yeah. And then we'll start the class. Okay, now see here. Active. Open the door. This is command. Here is a command. Open the door. So this time let the door be open. Let we use, then object the door here, B plus B3 be open, or you are ordered to open the door. You are ordered to open the door. If it is a command, then we change in this what these two ways. And here another word sentence. Don't pluck flowers. Let the flowers not be plucked. You are ordered. No, we don't say it's a negative. So we use let flowers not be plucked. Here, obey your parents. It's your choice whether you obey or not. But it's duty to obey our parents. Okay, so there is no rule that whether we should obey or not. But it's a duty we do. We respect to the teacher. We love to the juniors like that. It's a duty. So obey your parents means it's a duty. So your parents should be obeyed. Here is it's not a request, it's a duty. Now the last then what the next example is, please, comma, help me. It's a request. It's your choice whether to help or not. This time, how the active passive is formed, or how this active please help me is changed into passive here. You are requested. This is the what the rule or the structure. You are requested to help me like this. Then we have C. When the agent is not mentioned in the passive voice, it must be supplied in the active voice. See, as we did last time, if the subject is not properly known, then we don't have to mention into passive. That passive sentences, if the object is not mentioned in the passive, then we have to bring what we have already said, that someone, somebody, everybody, everyone, like that. As we don't mention, but while transforming passive into active, we have to write ourselves. Now see, 2 lions have been killed by people, by someone, by them. It could be. See, but while transforming, see, they have killed 2 lions. It could have been. But here, while changing into passive, we have to write subject ourselves. Someone, or they, or somebody. Okay, like that. Here is the in example, someone has killed 2 lions. And next, he was not invited. Who didn't invite? We don't know. The subject is not mentioned here. So that nobody invited him. So the sentence is negative. So that there must have been nobody invited him. So we have to remember, we have to do like this. And another is, while changing a prepositional verb from active to passive, why the preposition should not be dropped. See, if there is the use of preposition to, at, okay, by, into, or like that, if those are, then we can't avoid them. We have to write them. We have to mention somewhere in the sentence when we change into passive. See here example, active, Sagar laughed at the beggar. Sagar laughed at the beggar. So the sentence is transformed into passive in this way. The beggar, object is the beggar, was laughed. Why? The sentence is in past simple. So that the beggar was laughed at we should not drop. We should not drop. We should not remove. So you have to write that preposition. The beggar was laughed at, and then object is by Sagar. The subject in the place, as Sagar is proper known, the name, so we write by Sagar. Here, see, with some verbs in the passive, instead of by, some other prepositions should be used. Here, some of, we don't write by always. Buy shower, buy that, this and that. We know some very often. Or in some cases, we do what change the active into passive in another way. See, instead of buy, we use other words. Some of such verbs are A, no, marry. Okay, these are the two words. No, marry, we have. B, please, satisfy, cover, dissatisfy, displease, overgrow, discuss, crowded, throng, line, kill. Okay, number B. And number C, astonish, surprise, shock, agitate, vex, annoy, disappoint, alarm, rejoice, and amaze. In this condition, we have three examples, A, B, C. So use the preposition to, to instead of by. Use to with the verbs at number A. Number A means to, know, and marry. I'm not like that. What we here is, there are example, okay? So we write to instead in know and marry. In what B, please, satisfy, cover, dissatisfy. In that, here is we use with, okay? Then we use at with the verbs at C. In C, we have astonish, okay? Like that. Surprise, okay, we use at that time. Here are examples. See, then we'll start the class. See here. Active, all no, LP Dekota, no and marry are the words where we write to. LP Dekota is known, not by all, we write to all. And when the words no, marry are the words, okay? So then we write instead of by, then we use to. His work satisfies me. Please satisfy like that words. There we use with. I'm satisfied not by his work, with his work. Okay, sure. The next, surprise, astonish, the word come, then we use at. Okay, the news surprised us. So that here, the passive, we were surprised not by the news, at the news. Okay, so these are the some examples you can go through. Here are other plenty of examples and structures we'll be doing in our next class here. So many examples, and we have so many structures here, active, passive, okay. So we cannot finish within one class. Here are, okay, so many, around 26, 7, okay. These are the examples. These are the structures you'll have to learn and transform the sentences and some other